Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 Alumni Honors Banquet. We are here tonight to honor some of the University of North Dakota's most esteemed alumni. The recipients of the Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership this evening are Chuck Kummeth, Dr. Monica Mayer, Suezette Bieri, Mike Jacobs, Cathy Rydell, and Dave Miedema. Dr. Tiffany Hamilton, Erica Thunder, and Emily O'Brien will receive Young Alumni Achievement Awards. Please welcome this year's award recipients.
This university opened my eyes to the world, and I pray that it does the same for generations of students who follow me.
North Dakota, quite simply, I think is world class, and it has meant so much to me in my life.
I was nurtured by this school and by the student body.
I have roots here. I can feel them. They are deep and they are green. UND green.
6 years before North Dakota became a state, UND was founded on a plot of land 2 miles outside of the fledgling river city of Grand Forks. It was a hardscrabble existence, but against the odds, the first students graduated in 1889. The 6 women, 2 men formed the Alumni Association. UND would field its first football team in 1892. A school band would form a year later. By year 10, 3 buildings made up the campus. Brick by brick, the campus grew larger. Year after year, the student population grew. Commencement after commencement, the alumni family expanded. Decade after decade, the university's influence spread throughout the region, the country, the world, and beyond. In the midst of a consistent stream of excellence, a select few stand out. They are the best of the best, exceptional leaders in their chosen fields and in their communities. Since the 1950s, the Alumni Association has been recognizing these top performers with its highest honor, the Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership. In 2002, an award was added to recognize the accomplishments of our young alumni.
I am tremendously grateful for every person that's part of this large UND family that helped me to become who I am today.
I really want to say that you can make a difference here at the university. You want to get involved and you'll never regret it.
Because the University of North Dakota is a very special place, a place where an ordinary person like me can get an extraordinary education. An education that really did change my opportunities and change my life.
These awards have an amazing history of people who have received them. Political leaders of our state and our country, outstanding business leaders from across the world, teachers, lawyers, engineers, nurses, and doctors who change lives every day. And yet, they see it as just what they should do.
UND truly is the foundation that I built my career on. It was here that I really figured out what I wanted to do and how I became the person that I needed to be for this career.
So to you, students, do not take no for an answer. Step forward with vigor and vitality and build and live your dreams.
We have traveled the world, we've met and worked with fascinating people, and attended extraordinary events. This is an extraordinary event. Ask anyone who knew me when I was here how extraordinary it really is. No one would have believed it, but I believe that it was the setting here on the English Coulee that allowed me the accomplishments that are now credited to my account.
The late Earl Stratton, whose name is synonymous with the Alumni Association, loved this evening so much. He found immense joy in the celebration of this university's brightest stars in front of their friends, family, colleagues, and students. Students who would be inspired by what can be accomplished with a UND degree in hand.
The Sioux Award stands as just a real-life example of what one life can mean for the benefit of others.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the CEO of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation and 1986 UND graduate, Deanna Carlson Zink.
Good evening, everyone. What a beautiful evening with a wonderful audience. Welcome to our 2024 Alumni Honors Banquet. Tonight, we celebrate those who have achieved remarkable accomplishments, thanks in part to the education they received at the University of North Dakota. We are truly proud to call them alumni of this esteemed university. Last year at homecoming, we launched our ambitious $500 million campaign, Forever UND. It is based on three simple yet powerful statements. We do, we lead, we are forever UND. This ambitious effort is being guided by members of the Forever UND Campaign Committee. We are honored to have some of our committee members with us this evening. Would they please stand to be recognized? We also have a number of students with us this evening. If you are currently enrolled at the University of North Dakota, would you please stand and stay standing? Stay standing. Come on, students. Yes. Now keep standing. Keep standing. Many of these students are here thanks to alumni, our friends from UND who sponsored their ticket this evening. Would those who sponsored a student's ticket please stand? Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. You can be seated. And we are so very thankful for the sponsorship of this evening by our friends at United Valley Bank. Not only is United Valley sponsoring tonight's event, but they are also the lead sponsors of all of homecoming again this year. Would the team from United Valley Bank please stand to be recognized and thanked? Thank you all for being part of this very magical evening. We'd now like to get underway with a blessing and the reading of the Land Acknowledgement Statement. I now call upon Dr. Dan Henry to do the honor. Dr. Henry is the director for the Indians into Medicine program and an associate professor with the Department of Indigenous Health at UND. He is also a citizen of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa. Dr. Henry.
First, before I start, I just want to apologize to any elders here as I speak. So it's the first time reading from a teleprompter as well, so this is one of my first as it goes along. So. Just waiting for it to go, because I don't think I'm supposed to read Dr. Henry Reed's land acknowledgement for those blessing. I'll just pull it up from here. Today, the University of North Dakota rests on the ancestral lands of the Pembina and Red Lake bands of Ojibwe and Dakota Oyate, presently existing as composite parts of the Red Lake, Turtle Mountain, White Earth bands, and Dakota tribes of Minnesota and North Dakota. We acknowledge the people who resided here for generations and recognize that the spirit of the Ojibwe and Oyate people permeates this land. As a university community, we will continue to build upon our relations with the First Nations of the state of North Dakota, the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara nations, Sistan Wahpeton Oyate Nation, Spirit Lake Nation, Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. This next blessing, you guys can sit or stand however you prefer to do. I just want you all to know that I am not a holy man. I'm just an Anishinaabe Nini, a human being who's been given the honor to give this blessings, and I appreciate that. I will be speaking in my ancestral tongue, but I will translate as well, and I'll keep it brief because I know we're hungry. Nibiwi Ojawas Kahagidako make Nanando Ojibwe mo. Kichmena tu, Migacha no Nagum. Migacha no Manuma Maza Wen. Kichmena tu, Migacha no Majim Miniwa Minike, Miwi Sinin Nangum. Kichmena tu, Semenishanam. And miigwech. I thank the Creator for today and for this good life. I thank the Creator for the food and the drink we are going to have tonight. I ask the Creator to show mercy on us. I also ask that for all of us here, that the Creator looks after us so that we can make it back to our homes safely after tonight's event. Miigwech. Thank you. Happy.
Now, please welcome to the stage the 13th President of the University of North Dakota, Andy Armacost.
Andy speaks. Dan Henry sits down. Let me offer my thanks to Dan Henry, not just for what he did tonight, but what he does for our campus community on a daily basis. He and I have been involved with a group of others on significant work for UND, and I'm grateful for Dan. I can't see where he's sitting, but over there. How about another round of applause for Dan Henry? And tonight I'm so honored to be here to just celebrate the accomplishments of so many wonderful alumni from our university. And when I think about the connection between our students who are here, our alumni who are here, magic happens. And it sets an environment for our campus that is unparalleled. And we see that energy existing on our campus every day. And the example that these alumni set provides countless opportunities for inspiration and for joy among our students. And so much so that on Tuesday this week, we announced the incoming group of students on our campus has now exceeded 15,000. So 15,019. And if that's not enough to get you fired up, I don't know what is. I had to speak at the pep rally last night, and we got everybody fired up. I hope the energy in this room just keeps lifting us up through the example of the alumni we celebrate tonight. And tonight we have two honored guests who have joined us. Our 33rd Governor, Doug Burgum, and his wife, First Lady Catherine Burgum. How about a round of applause for them? And in my role as president, I've certainly found no greater supporter for the mission of UND and the overall mission for higher education than Governor Burgum. He routinely supports us and challenges us to bring a version of higher education that sets an example for our nation, always looking for innovative ways to better deliver the mission of what we try to do as an institution of higher learning. And since my first day in this position, Governor Burgum has reached out to me many times for discussions about higher ed, but also during COVID about how the state could position itself for better response through the support of folks like Dr. Josh Wynn, and also how the state government could better support our campus. And I'm so grateful, Governor, for the work that you did to make our campus safe and to make our entire state respond so effectively in the face of the uncertainty. I do have to admit my proudest moment as president comes at the hands of Governor Burgum. And that is when, celebrating the grand opening of Grand Farm down near Fargo, Governor Burgum kindly recognized the University of North Dakota president ahead of that of NDSU. And for that, sir, I am grateful. So please join me in welcoming the 33rd governor of the great state of North Dakota, Doug Burgum.
Well, thank you, President Armacost. Thank you, and Cathy. You're doing a fantastic job leading this university, and congratulations on the enrollment, up 6%. Let's give it up for our great president here at UND. Well, tonight is an evening of celebration, and there's much to celebrate. And tonight's also an evening of gratitude. And the gratitude comes in multiple ways, but the first I think we can be grateful for is for how we've come together, coming together in a good way. And Dan Henry, with your acknowledgement, recognizing those that have lived on this land, and in the video, recognizing those daring pioneers that had this bold and audacious idea to build a university out on the prairie, and to think about the lives that this institution has touched in those years going back even since before statehood. So we have that gratitude, but we also have gratitude for those, the entrepreneurs and the innovators in their state, including many of the alumni from this institution, because it's the strength of the North Dakota economy that's allowed us to continue to invest almost more per capita than any other state back into higher education. There's a virtuous cycle of our strong state and our strong economy and what we've been able to do in education. So we're grateful for the prosperity of the state. But we're also grateful for the generosity and the support of all the UND alumni that are here, and not those that aren't here from across the state, the nation, the world. The long history going back over 40, 50 years of handing out these awards just shows the incredible achievements that have been achieved by those that have attended this university and how they've been influenced by it. And their generosity in giving back is part of, again, that virtuous cycle that we see that keeps us moving forward. So it's with that gratitude and with that attitude of celebration we jump in tonight. And there's a few people that have also been a part of this long tradition, both past and present, that I want to acknowledge. And the first, of course, I understand he's here tonight, but we also have the 28th governor of North Dakota, former Governor Alan Olson and his wife, First Lady Barb. They're here, wherever you are. Alan, Barb, stand up. You right there. Thank you for your service, sir. Also a former Sioux Award winner. We've also, of course, the support from the state legislature is incredible for this institution, and a number of those folks are here tonight, and I want to give them a quick shout out. But House Majority Leader Mike LaFleur, Representative Mark Sanford, Representative Leonard Ball. Please stand as I'm reading your names. Representative Greg Steeman, Representative Jared Hart, Representative Brandy Pyle, Representative Cindy Schreiber-Beck, Representative John and Worry, Senator Kurt Kroon, and Senator Jeff Barta, and of course, you'll be recognized here shortly, but your very own Representative Emmy O'Brien, one of your award winners. If you could all stand, let's give these legislators a thank you for everything you do. And of course, in North Dakota, we've got, some states have 3 branches of government. We have 4. That includes the State Board of Higher Education. And they do a fantastic job, but they are somewhat independent of the other 3 branches. We've got 2 of those members of that 8-person board here tonight, Casey Ryan and Kevin Black. If you 2 could stand, thank you for your service on the State Board. I know how much these awards mean. You saw in the video that my first cousin, Rick Burgum, won one of the awards here in 2016. He's a 1968 alum, and I know how much that means to our family. And speaking of family, of course, people, they think, the Burgums are split, and our side of the family all went to NDSU. Rick and the Williamses, all those folks were coming up here to UND. But it's not a completely well-known fact that the First Lady of North Dakota, everybody knows that she got her undergrad from Arizona State. She got an MBA in Texas. But it's little well known that she went to summer school for 1 summer at UND. She's very proud of that summer that she was here. She majored in co-ed softball. So that was, you can ask her about that. But anyway, I thought since this is my last time that I'll be speaking here as governor, I thought that I should share some things with all of you that I haven't shared with anyone else, and that's a couple of the key lessons that I've learned during my time as governor. And the first one I've learned is that if you're an alumnus of a institution that's about 75 miles south of here, and then you actually come here to a game and you put on a UND jersey for football or a UND hockey jersey, unlike I'd been told, you actually do not burst into flames. It is possible. But the second half of that I learned is when I got back with my college classmates, you will get burned after doing that. And then the second big lesson that I learned is that if you're asked to speak at this banquet, I believe I'm the only one in the long and storied history that's actually been booed on the stage here. How many people were here in 2018? You guys remember that? Okay, so if you have the same crew that's working the light board, they probably have their finger on the switch because not only get booed, they turned the lights off on the stage when I was here. So we're going to try to not go back to that, but I did learn that you're not to bring up, the mascot of your home school. So I'm not doing that tonight. Okay, absolutely not doing that. Won't want to mention that, but since the time that I was here last, newsflash, with our CODEL, our senators, working with other senators from Wyoming, Colorado, Montana, there was a group of people. The United States did not have we had a national bird, national flower, and we did not have a national mammal, but thanks to their great work, and this is all about America, it's not about that other institution, but you may know that since I was here last time, the national mammal of the United States of America is now the bison. Okay, I just want you to know, I get good coaching. I got the most amazing staff. Jace Beeler, who's my chief of staff, he's the first family member in his family that went to NDSU versus UND. He was in student government there. And Mike Nowatzki, who's my chief of communication, he went to UND, and they're debating about whether I should say this, get booed, it's your last time here. And Jace won the argument because he said, but remember, for every person that boos you up here, there's 2 that are cheering in Fargo. So. But in all seriousness, I want to say back to this amazing institution that we're so grateful to have in our state, which is UND. Because when I think about UND and I think about what it means and the graduates, whether it's from doctors, lawyers, scientists, astronauts, people that are driving the economy, the work that's happening today at EERC. I don't go a week in my job today as we're attracting capital and talent to North Dakota to build entire new industries that I'm not interfacing with someone who's either an alumnus, or actively engaged still here with the university. And so we're so fortunate to have that. And I think that one thing that all of you know is that American greatness is what's allowed our country to become what it is. And American greatness is driven by innovation. And when I think about UND, I think about UND as constantly pushing the edge of innovation. And whether that's in, again, aerospace sciences, unmanned, what we're doing out here at the test site, the work here is truly amazing. We're not just creating jobs and careers, we're actually creating entire new industries that are occurring with the carbon sequestration and others. Some of these things that are coming out of UND are literally going to drive tens of billions of dollars of new economic development in our state. We narrow that all down into 6 words when we talk about state government, and that is empowering people, improving lives, and inspiring success. And that's what UND does for its students and for alumni every day, empowering people, improving lives, and inspiring success. So if you've got an attachment here to North Dakota's oldest and largest university, and you've got pride, you deserve to have that pride. Because of the kind of work that's happened here and the innovation that's happening, North Dakota stands today as the state with the fastest growing GDP, the lowest unemployment, the highest workforce participation. Many of you that were here over the years knew that our population was declining, and now we're the 4th fastest growing state in the nation. We used to be one of the oldest states, and now we're one of the youngest states. And we used to have a really low birth rate, and now we've got the 2nd highest birth rate in the nation. And I'm competitive. I said, what does it take to get to number 1? Who's the number 1? And they said, Utah. I said, that's going to be tough. But there's probably some of your kids or grandkids are maybe working on that tonight. And we'll keep chasing the top of the list. But I do want to say in closing a couple personal notes of gratitude. Across the 9 award winners tonight, Catherine and I have got personal relationships with 3 of them. And Dr. Monica Mayer, she's been an invaluable partner to Catherine and me in the whole effort around Recovery Reinvented and our administration's strategic initiatives focused on behavioral health and addiction and our goal to have the best tribal relations in the country. North Dakota's 5 southern nations with whom we share geography are blessed to count Dr. Monica as a resource and friend, just as Catherine and I do. Representative Emily O'Brien was one of our youngest legislative members, but has also been one of the most effective. She was instrumental in building the support for a $66 million breakthrough child care package that we passed into law in 2023, the state's first major investment. Thank you. Way to go, Emily. To change the understanding that what we needed, if we turn out college graduates, and you stay in the state, and we've got 35,000 jobs, but those that have UND degrees have to stay home when they want to work because we don't have access to high quality, affordable, and accessible child care, then that's a problem for workforce, for those that want to work. And so this was our state's first major investment in understanding that child care is key to workforce recruitment retention. And she's also been an incredible supporter of the intersection between university research and private sector innovation. And then lastly, on this is Erica Thunder, been a direct member of our administration, serving in many capacities, Indian Affairs Commission, then she was appointed to the State Labor Commissioner, and then she did a fantastic job, and later became the first ever Director of Diversity and Cultural Competency at the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So I give you those examples of 3 people that you're honoring tonight that have had a direct impact on the policies in the future of the state of North Dakota, and it just highlights how important this institution is to our entire state and how important it's been to the work that Catherine and I have been doing. So in closing, I want to say congratulations to these 3 award recipients, but I want to say to all the award recipients and all the past award recipients that I'm sure there's 100 of you that are out here tonight, but thank you all for making North Dakota a better place to live, to work, to raise a family. Thank you for your part in helping move our state forward. As you know, we're building a presidential library to Theodore Roosevelt at the edge of the only national park in our nation named after a person and not a place, the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Theodore Roosevelt famously said one time that far and away the best prize in life is the opportunity to work hard at work worth doing. That's what each of these award recipients have done, and that's what each of us have the honor to do as well. We've all in this room, if you're here tonight and you care about this university, you've had success and you're giving back, we've all caught that great prize. We've all had the opportunity to work hard at work worth doing. And so, but bringing us all together here tonight, it reminds us that what we have in this room is the best of America. There are people in our country that dream about a place where people would live in a spot where it was safe to raise a family, where neighbors still help neighbors, where people cared about their communities and their institutions. But if you're in North Dakota today, that's where we're living. We're living in the place that people around the world aspire to live. And this is a fantastic example of that here tonight. So to Deanna and the Alumni Association, President Armacost, and all the people that put on tonight's program, I want to say thank you. And the last word goes out to all of those students that I saw stand up tonight, that you're here tonight, and the people that sponsored them for being here. We've got to remember, about 25% of our state is young people. Young people that are under the age of 22 represent a growing percentage of the people we have. But they're not just 25% of the state, they're 100% of our future. So I challenge you, the alumni, the donors, the award winners, let's keep doing everything we can to build great institutions, to support those young people, because those students, they are our future. Thank you, and let's go North Dakota.
Please welcome to the podium the chair of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation Board of Directors, 1992 alumnus Jim Poolman.
Thank you very much, and it's great to be here with you tonight. You know, the University of North Dakota is an institution of lifelong learning. We're always learning lessons when we get back, and at 54 years old, I don't wear a tuxedo anymore, and so I learned tonight that a cummerbund also acts as a really good girdle. And so learn the lessons while you can get them. I'm privileged to introduce to you tonight the University of North Dakota Alumni Association Foundation Board of Directors. And I'd like to start by introducing the Vice Chair of the Board, Darla Adams, who's sitting over here. If you'd stand, Darla, and be recognized. And then I would love it if the rest of the board of the foundation would stand and be recognized as well. We had a great meeting today, and these are folks that are really setting a successful trend for the foundation. Thank you so much for your service. It's an awesome team to work with. Every day, there's always something going on with the university, and I do have to give a plug out to Deanna. Of course, this is absolutely no secret, but when Deanna and Mike and their team raised over $100 million in the last year to help students, they deserve huge congratulations. Congratulations. I'd also like to introduce the emeritus members, and these are folks that have served and given their time, their treasure, and their talent to the foundation, who many of them are here tonight, who continue to serve and to give back to the University of North Dakota and the foundation. Emeritus members, if you would also please stand and be recognized. One more quick thing. Today we had Kevin Black from the Board of Higher Education, who the governor introduced earlier, speak to us today and had a great conversation about the future of higher ed, the future of the governance of higher ed, how UND fits into that entire scheme or that entire governance structure. And Kevin, I just want to give you my personal thanks again for giving such a great presentation today to the board. The future of the Board of Higher Education is very bright with Kevin on that board, and we're very thankful for you. So thank you, Kevin. One of the great responsibilities of the UND Association Board is we actually pick the Sioux Award winners and the Young Alumni Award winners. And tonight we celebrate the best of the best. And they're part of our UND family, and they're leaders in that UND family. My message tonight, and very briefly, we've got business to cover, is one to the students. These are all trailblazers that you're going to see on the stage tonight, both the Young Alumni and the Sioux Award winners. They're leaders, they're philanthropists, they're achievers, and they're proud UND grads. And I would encourage you to learn from them, be inspired by them, emulate them, and enjoy the evening, because you're going to learn a lot about their stories and about what got them to the stage tonight. And so Mike and Suezette, unfortunately, Suezette can't be here, but Mike, Chuck, Monica, Dave, Cathy, Tiffany, Emily, Erica, You are forever UND. And we are so proud of you and so proud of what's going to happen to you all tonight. We look forward to hearing from you. Let's celebrate. Thank you for being here.
Now, please welcome to the stage 2007 UND graduate and Vice President of Marketing and Communications at the UND Alumni Association and Foundation, Sarah Prout, to introduce our Young Alumni Achievement Award recipients. Joining her in honoring our winners tonight are Andy Armacost and Deanna Carlson Zink.
It's a long walk. Good evening. The Young Alumni Achievement Award, created in 2002, honors recent University of North Dakota graduates who have achieved remarkable success early in their careers. These recipients exemplify how a UND degree, combined with dedication and hard work, can lead to outstanding accomplishments and success at the highest of levels. Our first recipient of the Young Alumni Achievement Award is Dr. Tiffany Hamilton, who graduated from UND in 2006, with degrees in biology and pre-health. Upon graduation, Tiffany commissioned into the U.S. Air Force to attend medical school at the Uniformed Services University of Health Sciences. She says she joined the Air Force because of strong military roots of her family. She then completed residency in pediatrics at the San Antonio Military Medical Center. While there, she volunteered for 2 medical mission trips to Mongolia, where she evaluated more than 2,000 people for heart disease each trip and performed many surgeries. Tiffany's first job attending was for the Air Force in Misawa, Japan. She was quickly granted the position of Medical Director of Inpatient Pediatrics, where she instituted new programs and methods to help treat children of militaries overseas. After her time in Japan was complete, she returned to Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, where she served as the Medical Director of the Pediatric Clinic for 5 years. She eventually left the Air Force, completed 3 years of training, and now a pediatric cardiologist at Oklahoma Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The hospital was ranked in the top 50 pediatric cardiology in 2002 and 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. The cardiology team performs more than 500 surgeries each year with an open heart surgery survival rate of 98.8%. Tiffany, for your service to our country, giving your time and treasure to serve those in need, and providing children in your care with the highest of care. Please come forward to accept your Young Alumni Achievement.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to accept this award tonight. I actually almost didn't answer the phone when Deanna called because, you know, an unknown phone number and all. But I am so glad I answered it, and I am extremely humbled by this honor and to be in the company of these other stellar award winners. It is also so great to be back at UND for homecoming. As a 3-year Telesis member, which I don't think Telesis exists anymore, I helped plan 3 homecomings, and in my final year, I was homecoming chair, so this is a very special time of the year for me. And wow, so much has changed. As a student, I was a campus tour guide, but now it all looks very, very different. I am looking forward to a walking tour tomorrow from my good friend Karina, who is also here tonight, and to see all of the new and latest updates. But I digress. I was told to come up with a few words to say tonight, and at first, I was very perplexed. I didn't feel like I had any grand plans, nor that my life turned out a certain way because of these theoretical plans, but rather my life and my path have been a series of just following where the road leads to next. A woman by the name of Susan Gale said, "Life is a series of unexplained events, unplanned laughter, unexpected tears, occasional sorrows, and overwhelming joy." And this is exactly what my life has been, and in thinking back, what I have embraced. This unexpected path started when I was looking for colleges. While I had no idea where I wanted to go, the one thing I did know early on was that I wanted to go to medical school and become a doctor. My family didn't really have an alma mater that was appealing to me. My mom was interested in a lot of artistic things, and my dad went to West Point. These were not my dreams. I had originally planned to stay close to home in the Twin Cities, but after touring a few colleges near Fargo and Moorhead, I said to my dad, "Hey, you know, the University of North Dakota is only about an hour north of Fargo. My friend toured there and she really liked it. Maybe we should stop by." Fortunately, my dad said, "Sure, why not?" So we made the 1-hour trip up from Fargo, and it just so happened to be homecoming weekend. I am pretty sure we got the last hotel room available. This was very random, very unexpected, and was the start of an amazing life path. UND was exactly what I was looking for as a college experience. The campus was walkable, it had sports I could cheer for, and it was not too big. Think University of Minnesota. And it just seemed to be the right fit. My 4 years at UND were the years I grew the most in my life. I was a shy girl throughout childhood, and UND helped to discover myself, and I truly believe it helped to shape me into the person I am today. I met so many of my best friends here, some of whom are here with me tonight. It also threw those unexpected experiences at me. I got my first B, which caused some tears, and taught me that not everything comes easy in life. I learned that while I thought I had my schedule towards graduation figured out, it was the unique accidents that allowed me to expand my classes to include photography and ballroom dancing. I also signed up for different clubs and organizations, and these experiences taught me how to be a true leader rather than a manager in life. These experiences then eventually led me to the next fork in my road. I was almost done at UND and needed to decide what medical schools to apply to. There were so many options, and I was looking everywhere because I knew it was so difficult to get in. This is where my grandfather came in, a retired Air Force pilot whose 2 sons both joined the Army. He was hoping someone would join the Air Force. He started to frequently bring up the idea that the military needed doctors. He said that alongside pilots, they were the other profession that was very respected, and he continued to try to sell this idea, saying they offered full scholarships as well. I in turn kept telling him that the military was not what I wanted to do with my life. This was not my life path, Grandpa. I wanted to be a doctor. Well, spoiler, he ended up being right. While looking through medical school options, I ran across information for the military's medical school, otherwise known as the Uniformed Services University, which paid for all of your studies and gave you a salary of a second lieutenant in the military during your 4 years of school. Well, this started to sound a lot more appealing to me. I then applied and got offered an interview. I was able to stay with my old UND college roommate in Washington, D.C., and got to experience the city with her, and my interview there was phenomenal. Everyone was so nice, welcoming, not uptight, and honestly, it just felt right. The librarian there even told me as I was leaving, "You'll be here this fall. I'll look for you this fall." Needless to say, this life, this military, this plan I was so against, was the next thing I said yes to. Upon graduation from medical school, I chose a residency in pediatrics. Through many years in school, I always said I did not want to move to San Antonio, Texas. For my residency program, as there were so many medical school graduates there, but my brother ended up moving there, and I again changed my mind. Then, upon graduating from residency, it was time to decide where my next duty station would be. We could place up to 20 places on our list, and I filled all 20 spots up because I did not know where exactly I wanted to go. None of those spots included Japan. When the time came to find out where we were going, all of my friends received an email, and I did not. I finally had to call our assignments officer to ask. While on the phone, he told me I would be going to Misawa, Japan. I was speechless. It was a half a world away from my family and friends, which was a scary curve in the road I had planned. This was going to be a long 2 years. However, this unexpected turn forever changed my life. While in Japan, I was given the job of inpatient medical director of pediatrics to make decisions on how we would care for and treat pediatric patients while in the middle of nowhere, Japan. And even more surprisingly, I met my future husband there. And no, he is not Japanese. The 2 years I thought would be a wash turned out to be some of the best in my life. We then returned to the US, and I needed to complete my military commitment. I knew I ultimately wanted to be a cardiologist. Through medical school, residency, and even experiences in Japan, this specialty was my dream. I was not able to initially train in this, though, through the military, but I thought about it again when my time commitment was coming to an end. My husband encouraged me to apply for a civilian fellowship, and while I felt too old, I knew I couldn't let the dream go unless I tried everything. I ended up getting matched at Phoenix Children's Hospital and completed training last summer in 2023. Upon graduating there, my family and I chose to move to Oklahoma, where my husband is from and where his family still is, which is exactly where I told my husband I would never move to. We have been there for over a year now, and I can't imagine living anywhere else. Raising my kids with their cousins, living in a Midwest-like town, doing what I always wanted to do is a dream. It is not the expected path I had dreamed of when I was in high school, planning my life. It was the series of unexplained events, unplanned laughter, unexpected tears, occasional sorrows, and overwhelming joy that got me here. So with that, I just encourage everyone to accept what is unplanned. Thank you to my parents, my husband, my children, my friends, for always encouraging me when the path did not go as planned. And again, thank you to the Alumni Foundation for this very unplanned and very special award.
Congratulations, Tiffany. Our next recipient was named North Dakota's Woman of the Year by USA Today in 2022. Erica Thunder is an enrolled member of the Mandan Hidatsa in Arikara Nation who received an undergrad degree from UND in political science in 2011 and a law degree in 2014. At UND, Erica played in the wind ensemble, was vice president of the Criminal Law Association, and secretary of the Student Bar Association. Erica has dedicated her career to being an advocate for fellow Indigenous people to ensure their voices and stories are heard. She has served on the North Dakota Indian Affairs Commission and was North Dakota's Commissioner of Labor and Human Rights. She was also the first Director of Diversity and Cultural Competency at the North Dakota Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Erica says she is proud to have brought an Indigenous voice to important discussions at the highest levels. She recently took a position in the private sector as a senior associate and tribal subject matter expert with K.L. Scott and Associates, a consulting firm that supports government agencies and nonprofits. Erica, for advocating on behalf of Indigenous people and for bringing the expertise to the highest levels of the North Dakota government. Please come forward to receive your Young Alumni Achievement Award.
Tremendously, Pinagigi, and I just would like to say hello to all my fellow tribal citizens tonight. It's awesome to see how many are here, and I don't think that anyone thinks that I'm a shy person, but I can get quite emotional. And so I'm just trying to focus on Governor Burgum right now and some of the jokes he was making and the boos that I heard. I've never heard that. And anyway, I just really want to say thank you to the University of North Dakota. I feel like I just owe so much in general. And I'll give a little bit of a backstory quickly, but there was no doubt that I was going to be here. As a young child, my family went to lots of events at UND. My mom was a music teacher. My dad was a farmer. And we were able to attend lots of music and just creative arts in general at UND. And my dad passed away when I was in high school, and it was incredibly difficult. And I've said this a number of times, but when I was making the decision to go to UND, because I was 16 at the time that he had passed, I knew that there was no other decision to make but to go to UND, because my brother, Evan Wondrosik, was already here. His future wife, Sarah Tondrick Wondrosik, was already here. And I had a number of friends and people I considered family here. So I knew that I would be supported no matter what. And I really appreciate that it was mentioned that I played in the UND Wind Ensemble, because I'd really like to thank Dr. Popejoy. He did not have to give me a music scholarship, but he did. I was not going into music, and I got to enjoy something that gave me such a great creative outlet for years in undergrad. So thank you to him and to the music department in general. And I want to also just say thank you to all of the creative departments within UND. You've been just a wonderful outlet for many of us. The decision to go to law school was also made easy in many ways, and I want to say thank you very quickly to the folks and the crew who put on the 1883 speaker series, which I was honored to speak at today, and share a little bit of my story, which has been a lot of ebbs and flows in life. And I just want to say overall, thank you so much for everything that you've allowed me to do, and I want to be able to say thank you to Julia Ernst more than anything. I know that, yes, please clap. If you're familiar with the 1990s film Matilda, there was a teacher named Miss Honey, and I really do promise that the first time that I had a class with Julia, I felt like I met my Miss Honey. It makes me emotional. She has been absolutely wonderful to me, and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for allowing me to share my story with your students, and also congratulations to your students, and thank you for sponsoring students tonight as well. And thank you to all of the law students and recent grads as well. Thank you so much, and congratulations. As I was stating, Indian law was, well, it has been stated, Indian law was extremely easy for me as a decision when I was looking into law school as far as what my specialty would be, because my Arikara and Hidatsa grandmother, Adeline Hall, had suggested it to me, and while I didn't understand that area of law at all at 16 years old, it stuck with me. And she kept saying how it was a challenging area, it was an area that was complex, and that we needed more and more people working in this area, good people who would do the right things. And so I thank her, and I thank her for instilling that in me. I thank the University of North Dakota for prioritizing Indian law and policy, because I was an undergrad when I took my Indian gaming course that kind of set everything off for me. So I just want to say a very large thank you to everyone who supported things like NALSA and all of the wonderful different programs that we have specifically for Indigenous peoples in law. I feel like I have so many other thank yous to say, and I will try to summarize like this. I want to say thank you so much to my family for all of their support. I have a very mixed family, so I want to say thank you to all sides, and I want to say thank you to my tribal nation, MHA Nation, and I want to say thank you to all of the fellow recipients tonight. You all are incredible, and you absolutely inspire me, and specifically, I want to say thank you to Dr. Monica Mayer, and I want to say thank you to Emily O'Brien. Both of you have been people that I have admired from afar for quite some time. Both of you have done quite a bit for me without even knowing it. And I also, though I just teased, I really want to say thank you. And when I saw Governor Burgum on the list tonight of folks, I was really happy, and I'm even more happy now to know that First Lady Catherine is here as well. And I didn't know about the summer thing, and so that's awesome. But in all seriousness, I want to say thank you to both of you. You both changed my life indefinitely, in many ways. And I know that I have colleagues here tonight too, who I served on North Dakota's cabinet with. One came up to me and I almost started crying right away. Sean Riley, hi, wherever you are. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who I was able to serve with at the state of North Dakota. And I guess, yeah. Like I said, I can't say my thanks enough to UND, just in general. I was shaped here. After my father passed, I needed a place that was safe. I needed a place where I could heal. This was that place. So I'm very thankful. And I know I'm going to forget folks here tonight, so just thank you everyone who is in attendance, and thank you everyone who has supported us students, and just thank you fellow alumni for absolutely everything. I am so blessed, and I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't lastly thank my husband, Dash Thunder. You have been the most supportive person in my entire life, and words aren't enough. So Pina Gigi Wakanjacho, and thank you very much. And overall, just thank you everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Erica. We are proud to call you a UND alum. Our final recipient of the Young Alumni Achievement Award this evening graduated from UND in 2015 and was elected to the North Dakota Legislature in 2016. Emily O'Brien was 23 years old when the Lakeville, Minnesota native was elected to represent District 42, which includes neighborhoods around UND's campus. Emily serves on 2 standing committees, 2 procedural, 3 statutory, and 8 interim committees. During the 2023 session, Emily co-sponsored House Bill 1540, which provides nearly $66 million to support child care services. She says having children herself has changed her perspective on what's important and how laws will impact future generations. Emily is a 4-time Greater North Dakota Chamber champion, a recognition for those who are considered pro-business leaders. In 2023, she was one of 8 legislators recognized for bipartisanship by Greater North Dakota Chamber. Emily is the Chief Operating Officer of Bioscience Association of North Dakota and helps with her boyfriend's drywall, framing, and painting company. She also volunteers her time to many community groups and currently serves on the board of directors of the Chamber of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks. Emily, for seeking bipartisan solutions to make North Dakota a great state to live, work, and raise a family. For your volunteer spirit and your can-do attitude, please come forward to accept your Young Alumni Achievement Award.
Wow, what a surreal moment. But before I begin, I must take a moment to thank one of my best friends, Keely Useldinger, the Director of Events for UND Alumni Association. She's probably gonna kill me for this. I can't see her in the back, but I know she's in the back over there. But this event would not be what it is tonight without her and her amazing team at the association. So please join me in giving her a round of applause. I can see you now by the green light. I also want to start by congratulating the other award recipients. It is an honor to share this evening with you. I found out that I would be receiving this award months ago. When I was initially told, I could barely process the honor and was truly in utter shock. Deanna knows. A few colorful words may have come out, tears were shed, an overwhelming amount of appreciation was felt. As I continued to sit with the thought, it allowed me time to pause and really reflect on how this came to be and why am I standing before you all tonight to express, or try to express, what this recognition means to me. When you take time to reflect on your life and the happenings that have led to a moment, it's amazing what memories take precedent and push their way to the front. When I was younger, I was told I was an independent, curious, go-getter, and textbook eldest child. Whether it was laying my sister's uniforms out on their beds as a 7-year-old, or planning our family holiday menus, which is a huge shout out to Food Network and Julia Child for being a major part of my childhood, I was always involved and more times than not found myself leading the charge. I've always had a sense of urgency to learn as much as possible and begin making my mark on the world. Naturally, I gravitated towards others with similar ambitions and who shared the same curiosities, finding myself as a harmonizer, making sure others are taken care of and alleviate stress where I could. Flash forward to being a freshman at the University of North Dakota. I initially struggled to find my place. I was very involved in high school, and not knowing where I belonged was hard. Being 5 hours away from home made it even more difficult to adjust. However, I was able to connect with my academic advisor, Julie Bean, who suggested I try some student involvement opportunities on campus. This opened my eyes to all the different offerings provided by the university. One of those opportunities was getting involved in Greek life. Little did I know this would change the trajectory of my college experience. I became a member of Gamma Phi Beta and quickly felt that sense of belonging I was looking for. Simultaneously, I was working 3 jobs and became heavily involved in other groups on campus. This included the College of Business Student Advisory Group, establishing the first financial wellness program, and finding myself joining the nation's first student investment group, Dakota Venture Group. This vision by Bruce Jovig and Bart Holliday sought to give students a hand-on experiential learning opportunity before their career start rather than end, and how true that was for me. My involvement there is what led me to attend my first UND Sioux Awards ceremony. I vividly remember sitting in the audience 11 years ago. I was severely underdressed, but being incredibly moved and inspired by the awardees on the stage, listening to their achievements and sentiments to what the University of North Dakota provided them, mostly not realizing what impact they made to the university and students like me. I look back to that moment and only wish I could tell that version of myself One day you will have the opportunity to do the same. I was a recipient of the Tom and Gail Clifford Scholarship as a junior. The focus was not necessarily on grades, but on involvement on campus. As a student that was funding college on their own and taking out loans, this was the first scholarship I had ever received. It was another monumental moment in my college career. Gail reminded me that Tom always told students, C's get degrees. Knowing I did not need to be a perfectionist would help alleviate the pressure I felt and gave me space to apply energy to making a bigger impact greater than myself. Bruce Jovig once told me, a lot of people have gone further than they thought they would because someone else thought that they could. With that being said, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge those who have supported, provided, and pushed me along the way. First, my family. Although they may not fully understand what I am all involved in and actually do for work, they've always supported me and shown up, and tonight is no exception. My mentors and those that have taken me under their wing, Bruce Jovig, Cindy Schreiber-Beck, Kurt Kroon, Mike LaFour, Jerry Vaneco, Bart Holliday, just to name a few. Many of you are here tonight. Thank you. All of my colleagues, past and present, that are here to support me this evening, it is truly humbling to have the best of the best in your corner. Thank you to the UND alumni for your generosities. I'm a product of your contributions to students, whether you've met them or not, and you've made a significant impact. As the late Earl Stratton, the former CEO of the Alumni Association and former majority leader, would continuously remind me, leave the woodpile higher, and that's what I plan to continue to do. Thank you so much for this evening. I am truly humbled and grateful.
Tiffany, Erica, and Emily, you are all so very deserving recipients of the Young Alumni Achievement Award. Let's give our round of applause for our outstanding young alumni. It's time for dinner. We'll continue alumni honors ceremony following our dinner. Please enjoy. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you continue to enjoy your dinner, please welcome the Varsity Bards under the direction of Casey Bain.
Do you feel the force of the wind, the slash of the rain? Go face them and fight them. Be savage again. Go hungry and cold like the hungry and cold like the wolf. Go cold like the wolf. Go away like the crane. Go away like the crane. The palms of your hands will thicken. The skin of your cheek will tan. You'll go ragged. You'll go weary. You'll go ragged and swarthy. But you'll walk. But you'll walk. You'll walk like a man.
By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny breaks, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and me true love were ever wont to gaze on On the bonny, bonny banks all Oklahoma.
Oh, he'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, steep sides of Ben Lomond, where deep in purple hue the highland hills we view, and the moon coming out in the gloaming. Oh, he'll take the high road, die, die, the low, die, 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 Scotland of die, 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 but die, die, true, die, 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 on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond.
Wee birdie sings and the wildflower springs, and in sunshine the waters lie sleeping. But the broken heart will ken a second spring again, and the world knows not how we grieve.
Die, 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 da, da, die, die, da, da, die, die, da, da, die, die, da, da, die, But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch
At this point, we'd like to invite any Varsity Bards alumni up to sing the varsity songs with us, please. Make your way down.
I think we're good.
Between the poles, we're rough and tough, it's true, but we're sportsmen through and through. We're the green and white from North Dakota, you. Odds, 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 right, 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 oi, oi! Dakota! Stand up and cheer, stand and cheer for North Dakota. Pledge your loyalty, for she's your long-gone daughter. True, 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 true. Our teams are fighting, and we will help them see it through. We got the team, rah, rah, we got the steam. Woo! Dawson, North Dakota, here's to you. We sing a song for you, North Dakota, you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Varsity Bards are proud to recognize that one of their former members is receiving a Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership tonight, and it also happens to be Dave Miedema's birthday. Please join them in singing happy birthday to Dave.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Vice President for Development at the Alumni Association and Foundation, 1999 and 2003 UND graduate Mike Manassa. Mike will be introducing the recipients of the Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership, with assistance from Deanna and Andy.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. How about another round of applause for the extremely talented Varsity Bards that we heard earlier tonight? Well, I hope you're ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time now to pay tribute to this year's recipients of the Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership. This award is the highest honor given by the UND Alumni Association and Foundation for achievement, service, and loyalty. Since its inception in 1949, this distinguished award has been presented to leaders in government, in business, high achievers in various industries and professions, alumni who have dedicated their lives in service to others, and even a UND graduate who has been to outer space. Our first recipient is Chuck Kummeth. Chuck grew up in the small town of Glen Ullin, North Dakota. He's proud of that upbringing and the education he received at the University of North Dakota. They launched him into a career that includes more than a decade-long stint as the CEO of an S&P 500 company.
From a teen pumping gas in Glen Ullin, North Dakota, to leading a global biotech powerhouse, Chuck Kummeth has traveled an extraordinary path.
Well, Chuck has been a member of our college executive board for many years. So we meet twice a year, and Chuck is a very active participant on the board. His experience as an engineer, as a leader in companies like 3M and Biotechny brings a great perspective to the board, especially with all the growth that his company Biotechny has experienced over the last few years. His insight into how to accommodate a growing organization and all of its needs from facilities to people has been very insightful, very helpful for the college.
After earning his degree in electrical engineering from UND, Chuck spent over 2 decades at 3M, advancing from a lab technician to a vice president in the medical division. Eventually, he took the helm of Biotechny Corporation, transforming it into a leader in life sciences.
Chuck is a great example to our current students and prospective students. Chuck grew up in a small town in North Dakota, came to UND, got an engineering degree, and has just gone on to do amazing things. Things that I'm sure he couldn't have even predicted himself when he was a student here. Chuck, in partnership with his company, helped establish an endowed faculty position in our School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And these positions are very important because they help us attract and retain some of the best faculty that we can. And so Chuck, over the course of his career, he has engaged with universities through his role in industry, and he sees the value of bringing really bright new faculty to a campus. And that's what his gift will help do.
Chuck, you are so proud of your North Dakota upbringing, and we are so proud of you. Please come forward to accept your Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership.
Joke to open up when I saw these young people coming up reading speeches off their phones and stuff, and then Emily ruined it. Bringing up papers. Clearly she's beyond her years of maturity, so, but here I am. Well, wow, what an honor to receive this amazing recognition. I never, ever expected to achieve this prestigious award from UND, but I'm very happy to be here to accept it. I can tell you for certain that without the strong support of my family, I would never be here tonight. My family, and my wife Angie especially, has been my center for 17 years now. I grew up all around North Dakota, as my father was a teacher and later an administrator. We moved every 3 to 5 years. He would say, as the highest paid public servant in a small town, superintendent of schools, if I haven't upset a majority of the school board and the population for doing my job, I wasn't doing my job. He's here, by the way, and 87 is still doing great. Thank you, Dad. So I learned a lot about people living in 5 small towns until I left high school for UND at age 18. I learned how to watch, listen, meet people, make friends, fit in, earn a spot on a team. All not easy in rural small towns in North Dakota, I might add. It may have had a big impact on my future leadership qualities. I was a BC student. I liked school, and I studied hard, along with 3 jobs, and thank God I did. If I was ever asked what my biggest accomplishment was, being a student in the electrical engineering school, I would say, I completed my studies with nearly a 3.0 GPA, but I never dropped a class. I never got a D. If I had a D going, I made it a C. If I had a C going, I could maybe get a B. I didn't get many A's. I borrowed a lot to go to school. I couldn't imagine starting a class torture all over again from the very beginning, not to mention paying for it again. I used to like to study the stacks of the medical library. I had my place up in the middle of the books at a desk situated at the end of a long bookshelf row. Many of you probably know this spot. Every row had one, and they were sought after. I can still remember today fondly the smell of the aged paper in those stacks and the warmth. Always warm in there, and we were often cold from walking class to class in the winter. Last anecdote for the young people in the audience. One reason I think I struggled more than some in school, knowing full that I was actually smart, was the realization that I was an active learner and not really great at book learning. Taking 5 to 6 classes at a time was hard for me. When I later started working in the data storage lab at 3M Company, I worked on designing systems on a team, one large project for a year at a time. We were partners with Apple Computer back then, and we helped them launch the first Macintosh computer. I traveled to Cupertino often in the mid-'80s and saw Steve Jobs' innovative culture of talent and culture every day and very early. What I came to realize was that I could get really good at something that I worked on 10 plus hours a day with no distractions. Jobs are easier than taking classes and a hell of a lot more fun. I spent 24 years at 3M, rising through the ranks, starting as a co-op student in the medical division. After serving in 4 different divisions, running a subsidiary in Europe, and managing the industrial businesses of 3M for Europe, to my last job at 3M, back in the medical division, but this time as its vice president, managing 6,000 employees and a $2.5 billion P&L. My very first boss was still in the division lab, and he had quite a laugh. 15 years ago, I left 3M to join a much smaller company back then, Thermo Fisher Scientific. I spent 4 years there learning and managing businesses in the life sciences industry. Everyone here in the audience would know one product of hundreds I managed, Nalgene water bottles. The business started as a lab bottle business until some scientists started taking them on hikes. It got noticed. I need to thank Angie because those years at Thermo Fisher were all spent commuting every week. Angie managed our home and took charge of our 4 kids. For those of you who have commuted long distances for work, you understand that 4 years is a long time to do so. Angie was always keeping all of us together, even when we weren't together. Thank you, Angie. Unknowingly, at the time, my 4 years at Thermo Fisher prepared me to become a life sciences company CEO, and I did so in 2013, assuming the helm of a struggling small company called Techni, renamed Biotechni early because after 25 years, someone forgot to register the name, and we received a cease and desist letter. Small aside from that, I was in the spin-off to Amation and saw the marketing disaster there, and we hired all the marketing firms to figure out a name. And I told them, please don't come up with a 10-syllable name we're going to spend the next 5 years trying to pronounce. And somebody bright came up with Biotechni, and I thought there's no way that's not registered, and it wasn't, and it stuck. They had $300 million in revenue, but it was shrinking for a variety of reasons. I worked under many great leaders and mentors, Jim McNerney of GE and 3M, Harold Wiens, my boss for many years at 3M. Another boss, maybe the best peer engineer I've ever met, Leroy Kuda, also here in the audience tonight. Mark Casper, CEO of Thermo Fisher, and many more. These people and more shaped me into the leader I was to become. I rebuilt the team, which took the company from $300 million to over $1.2 billion in 11 years, and a market cap from $2 billion to over $20 billion in that time frame. I retired this year, leaving the company in great hands with the team I hired. My adolescent years taught me a lot about people, and I'm known as a mentor and a networker attracting talent to partner with me. To this day, I've never used a recruiting service to hire a direct report for me. I need to close, but I want to leave you with a final thought or two. First, I want to thank Dean Tandy and Robin Turner of the Foundation for sponsoring me with this award. In the end, All that matters are friends, family, being loved and remembered well. Start doing what matters now, because if there is one thing about aging in the future, you don't know what is coming. You don't want to wait too long to pursue your dreams or give back. You want to look back and say, yeah, I did all right. I have no regrets, made a difference, and I'm ready for the future and the unknown. Thank you.
Congratulations, Chuck. We are proud to call you an alumnus of this great university. Our next recipient has been an inspiration to not only her community, but the entire state of North Dakota. Dr. Monica Mayer was a promising basketball player who focused her intensity on education after a knee injury ended her playing days. She not only became a family medicine doctor on her North Dakota reservation, but also a tribal leader.
Dr. Monica's journey in life has been one of dedication and service. Her ability to inspire and lead with empathy and strength is truly remarkable. Her commitment to her community is unwavering. She is a tireless advocate for mental health and addiction recovery. She has been a fierce advocate for prevention, understanding that the root of the crisis lies in early intervention and support. Tonight, you will hear about Dr. Monica's list of many accomplishments and about how she's changed so many lives. I'm going to tell you my story of meeting Dr. Monica when I became First Lady of North Dakota and how she has changed my life. I'll never forget the day I met her at the tribal leadership lunch that the governor and I hosted during our inauguration week in January of 2020. I was moved by her compassion and empathy when she spoke about addiction and its effects on her community. I could relate to what she was talking about because of my own struggle with addiction to alcohol for over 2 decades. Soon after that meeting, I met with Dr. Monica and her talented team of women to learn more about her concerns and her vision for the future. She emotionally explained that her people were dying from drugs and addiction and that she planned to do something about it. Dr. Monica hosted the first annual Good Medicine Summit at MHA Nation in 2017 and gathered experts in the field of addiction and recovery, blazing the trail for prevention, treatment, and recovery in her community. She asked me to speak at that event, and I shared my story of my struggle with the brain disease of addiction. I spoke about my sobriety and recovery and the importance of never giving up hope for recovery. I spoke about how just talking about addiction normalizes the conversation around this disease and helps eliminate stigma so more people will reach out for help and more lives can be saved. In 2017, at our first Recovery Reinvented event, the governor and I recognized Dr. Monica with the Trailblazer Award for her work on addiction and recovery. In 2018, Dr. Monica and her team opened the Door Resource and Recovery Lodge, a recovery community organization where people get help with addiction, find support, services, and resources to help them get back on their feet again. The Door was the first recovery community organization in North Dakota. Dr. Mayer's insights and leadership have inspired countless individuals to seek help and embrace recovery. She has presented me with many beautiful gifts over the years, including handmade jewelry, shawls, and star quilts. The necklace I am wearing at this event tonight is the same one she wore when she spoke at the United Nations about human trafficking and addiction. I will always treasure these gifts. Today, with over 22 years in recovery, I'm so grateful for my recovery and the gifts that I've been given in my life. And one of those gifts is Dr. Monica Mayer.
Monica, for using your UND degree and your passion to improve healthcare outcomes for the people of the Fort Berthold Reservation, please come forward to accept your Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement in Leadership.
Normally, I don't read off of anything and just kind of speak from the heart, but I'm a little bit on the nervous side tonight. Good evening to everybody. I'm Dr. Monica Mayer. My Indian name is Hochbadi Sagesh. That means good medicine in my language. I am an enrolled member of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, and I'm the oldest child of the late Avis Baker Mayer, and the oldest grandchild of the late May Howard Cathy. I was instructed by my grandmother and my mother to introduce myself this way so that the people will know who you are and where you came from, and out of respect for our matrilineal heritage of the MHA Nation people. When I was driving up here, I was thinking about the time that I got to go and speak. It was a real honor to speak at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, and represent the 573 federally recognized tribes speaking about violence against Indian women. And I've received many honors in my lifetime, but I do believe, without a doubt, in my mind and my heart and my spirit, that the UND, University of North Dakota Association, Alumni Association Sioux Award is the greatest honor I have ever received in my life. You know, as I was driving up here from Newtown yesterday, I realized that all of us in this room have something in common, and that's our birth and that's our death. But what we do in between that time is what matters most. And it would be impossible to thank the many, many people that have helped us, each and every one of us, on our journeys through life. And I would like to start out by thanking my mother, the late Avis Baker Mayer, who this medallion was made in her honor, and her spirit is with me today. For I'm sure it was not easy for her to raise 3 little girls in this 1960s and 70s, as volatile as they were, on an Indian reservation with very little money. And she worked hard to make sure, and it was a mandatory thing, you had to go to school every day. You'd almost have to be on your deathbed to miss school. And it wasn't enough for that, the attendance. It was about getting good grades. And it was about making sure you graduated. And it was about making sure that you went to college and made something out of yourself, because it was too hard for little girls to get good paying jobs without an education in the 70s. And so I am eternally grateful to my mother for instilling those values into me when I was a child, even though I didn't like going to school. She always used to say, you know, girls, there's only one guarantee in life that anybody will ever have. For you can lose your home, your land, your car, your clothes, your children. your bank account, but there's no way, not even the federal government, will take away your education. It's the one guarantee you will have in life. And I am eternally grateful for UND giving me that opportunity. I can't forget my German father. And for those of you that are German out there, you will understand what I'm saying. My father, Irvin Mayer, only finished 6th grade, because back in those days, he had to go to work. And so he worked from sunup to sundown every single day of his life till the day he passed. And he used to always say to 3 little girls, me being the oldest, "Come on, Monica, we gotta work, 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 work. When we're done working, we can work a little more." You know why, Monica? Because a little hard work never hurt nobody. I'm sure some of you out there know what I'm talking about. And I'm eternally grateful for my father always instilling in me the concept that if you want it, you have to work for it, because everything in life is about working hard for. And so I had a recipe for my life's journey, and that was an education, pursuing knowledge, 2, working hard for what you want, 3, prayer and faith. And yes, I've had many barriers and difficulties in my life, as we all have. But to get knocked down and brush yourself off and get up and do it again is some of the hardest things to do. I remember in my first year of pre-med, I came here to UND. I got a D in Chemistry 101. And it haunted me for years. But I got up and brushed myself off, and here I am, having the fortune to have served many, many people and cared for them, and would have not have been able to do had I given up because I got a D in Chemistry 101. So, you know, UND opened the door for me for many opportunities, and I'm eternally grateful. And I'm very fortunate to have come into UND at a time when the university supported the InMed program, Indians into Medicine. And what a wonderful program that is, and UND is the only one that I'm aware of who has ever done anything like that in the entire United States, and has produced hundreds and hundreds of doctors, nurses, and other healthcare allied professionals to go out into the reservations and try to do and work and care for the people of our homes. And that's exactly what I did. You know, after 20 years of, medical school was not easy for me. It was very difficult. And I have with me today many of my friends and colleagues who helped, and we of course, we had to have our fun together here too, And Dr. Tom Walker, UND graduate from the University of North Dakota, is here with me today, and my relative. Jan Morley graduated from law school when I was in medical school. We were roommates together. She is here with me together. And Dr. Rydell, my longtime mentor, who's helped me get through the medical school process and get out into practice. And my children, little Monica, Lexi, and Nathaniel. And I'm so honored that they've all come here to be with me on this very special day. For without them, we would not be able to achieve the dreams and journeys that we all want to be on. And so, I practiced medicine for almost 25 years, almost all in North Dakota. and on much of it on the Indian reservation, for the quality of life is much less than what it is on the non-reservations. And so I am honored to have helped instill and push children from all over this great state of North Dakota to pursue an education. And I tell kids all the time, even in the schools today, you know, you have to go to school every day, you have to work hard for what you want, and no drugs. And my community members, I tell them, the Lord is first, our family is second, and serving others is third. So it's a little hard work. As my father said, never hurt nobody. Working as a physician is an honor, a privilege, but it is very hard and difficult. And so after 20 years, I retired from medicine and I ran for tribal government office. And in 2016, the same year that Governor Burgum ran, I won for the North segment, which is Newtown area for my nation, MHA, Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara. We have 7 tribal government elected officials, and I'm one of those 7. And I was the very first woman ever to win office in my segment, North segment. And you know, it's not just being a minority, it's not just being a woman that makes things hard. It's kind of fun and challenging, because who doesn't enjoy a good debate every now and then, right? So of course I had my barriers and turmoils with the government trying to run things, because women's eyes see things differently than men's eyes do in government. And so after 4 years, I decided, well, I'm gonna run again. So in 2020, during COVID, I ran again, and I won in a landslide decision for my community. So I'm very proud of that, and made history with the landslide, because Newtown is too hard to win if you have a big family to get you in. You can't do it that way. And I'm proud to say today that 10 days ago, I ran for my 3rd term, and I won in a landslide by 55%, and am the first woman to ever win 3 consecutive terms. And you know what? The truth of the matter is, I never knew anything about what politicians do, and I'm getting kind of good at it now. And I believe that the skills that I learned here, you know, because health, education, law enforcement, and economics are the 4 pillars of every community. And I got a strong enough education here at UND to help apply those skills to the skills of being in government and in office. And so I attribute those also to UND for arming me with the education that I needed to pursue helping others in need and leading and inspiring as many as one can do so. And so with that, I would like to thank everybody for this opportunity. It is the greatest honor of my life to be a University of North Dakota Alumni Association Sioux Award recipient. And I thank everybody for coming out tonight, and God bless everybody. God bless UND, and thank you for listening to me. Maadzakadads Gowitz.
Congratulations, Monica. We are so happy to have you as a recipient of our highest honor. Our next recipients, Suezette Bieri and Mike Jacobs, have been a power couple in Grand Forks since they graduated from UND. Mike is a journalist and Suezette as a driving force in the Space Studies program here at UND.
Mike and Suezette have known each other since they were preschool classmates in Stanley, North Dakota. They married in 1971. After moving around the state, they came back to Grand Forks in the early 80s. Mike would start a long career with the Grand Forks Herald newspaper, and Suezette worked for the University of Minnesota Crookston before earning a master's degree in space studies from UND. She would become deputy director of the North Dakota Space Grant Consortium.
She is a proud alumni of the university, and we travel around the state and doing different things, and she always had UND, and was able to demonstrate her enthusiasm for the university.
Yeah, I think what makes him deserving is his career in journalism in the state, his very public, visible career, the impact that he's had on the state. Beyond that, I think it's his love of the University of North Dakota and the love of the state of North Dakota. It's just incredible. I call him Mr. North Dakota because he knows so much about the state. When I used to travel with him, anywhere we went, he knew at least one person in that location, not a scheduled meeting, but just would run into somebody that knew Mike. So he's so well connected with the state, his love of the University of North Dakota, his support of students, and his love for the students that we have here.
She was instrumental on supporting the area of spacesuit research, which is what I have been doing for 20 years. So I often think that if it wasn't for Suezette, probably, and the support that she showed during the beginning of my research, we won't have this capability here at UND.
Mike and Suezette are role models because they are really concerned with student success and supporting students in ways that sets them up to be successful throughout their lives. A good example is their support of undergraduate research within the College of Arts and Sciences. Undergraduate research is a really critical part of student retention at UND, but also getting students to think more deeply about what they're studying while they're here. In addition to that, they're the first donors to a scholarship in the Forensic Science program, which is a fast-growing program within our college. And that's a really important milestone for the Forensic Science program. So it sets an example, setting up a scholarship for that academic program.
Mike, we are so proud to have you and Suezette as recipients of our highest honor. Unfortunately, Suezette was not able to be here with us tonight. Mike, please come forward to accept your Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement in Leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to commit journalism here tonight. The first commandment in the newspaper business is never check the facts after you publish them. And so I am here to call out Doug Burgum, who did not check the facts, at least I cannot imagine that he checked the facts, that there are twice as many people in Fargo cheering for the Bison as there are in Grand Forks cheering for the Hawks. And I'm pretty sure of that because a very large percentage of the political and economic leadership in Fargo have degrees from the University of North Dakota, which is in Grand Forks. Never print the news until you have checked the facts. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to face the first fact as courageously as I can. Suezette, as you know, is not here. She's in the hospital after a fall related to her advancing dementia. We, that is the doctors and I, don't expect that she'll be coming home, though I pray that she will. We're looking for long-term care for her now. I'm going to be left in a 4,000 square foot house with 3 cats. President Armacost made plain that he would bring the award to our home, which is something that I can't imagine any of the previous presidents would have wanted to do. And I realized then that Andy Armacost has done something else. He has stopped us from pining about the departure of Tom Clifford. The second fact that I have to face is that it's even harder than Suzette's hospitalization because grief is the strongest emotion, right up there with love. I want to introduce, I don't want to interview anybody. I want to introduce some people who are here, starting with my older sister, Eileen, who is much shorter than I am. And she's back there somewhere. Where are you? There we are. And her daughter, my niece, Cindy Larkham, and my sister-in-law, Becky Blessum, who has been a wonderful helper with Suezette. Her daughter, Ann Mason, who is a double degree winner from the nursing school at University of North Dakota. And her husband, Daxon Mason, and the boys, 2 of the best-looking teenagers on the planet, Jace and Brecken. And my cousin, Kim Yeager, is out there as well. She worked at the Grand Forks Herald and at newspapers in the Twin Cities. Her husband's an important figure, or was an important figure, at the Minneapolis Tribune. So all of those people are 2 tables back. I can't see them at all. The next table coming forward is all journalists, too many to reel off, even though they are likely the greatest accumulation of newspaper smarts in the nation, and all of them are connected to UND. Another special guest is Pablo De Leon, whom you saw on the program. He and Suezette had a wonderful professional relationship. She looks up to him and enjoyed working with him, and I want Pablo to know that, and I want to thank him. I have to introduce Jeff Dodson because he's the guy that the Alumni Association sent to pick our pockets. And I have to say that he has done a very good job of it. And then there's Mark Sanford, a Sioux Award winner, and next to my father, probably the most important man in my life. I was in his classroom on the day that John Kennedy was killed. I think it was geometry class, but I didn't do well in it. Suzette's the one with the math smarts, as Dr. Sanford regularly reminds me. Dr. Sanford encouraged, he was not Dr. Sanford yet. He was a fresh graduate from Minot State College, Teachers College, and he was in his first job at Stanley. He encouraged us to go to UND. He was the basketball coach in Stanley, and he tried to recruit me since I was a tall boy. I also had large hands, which were needed in the dairy barn, so no basketball glory for me. And here's another fact. Suezette and I didn't go to the same grade school. She is adamant when she saw the article that I correct this. We were children together. Our parents knew each other, didn't agree on anything, but we did not go to grade school together. She went to Granada No. 1 in Blaisdell, and I went to the big school in Stanley. Actually, 3 of tonight's honorees are from Montreal County. I don't recall that this has ever happened before. Monica Meyer is from Newtown, and her father was raised near Stanley, my hometown, and Suezette, of course, from Blaisdell, and me from Stanley. How many of you could point to Montreal County on a map? How many of you have ever been there? Some. Stanley is exactly 60 miles west of Minot on US Highway 2. And I can tell you absolutely everything to look at between here and there. And what it looked like, oh my God, 50 years ago. This is the trouble with writing a speech. You have to turn the pages. In addition to our journalists here tonight, UND has produced at least 4 award winners in journalism. One of them was Mel Reuter. He owned a newspaper in Montana and won a Pulitzer Prize for local reporting. 4 months later, he received one of the first Sioux Awards. And he gave his money to the University of Montana. Just saying. Sarah Garland got her Sioux Award at mid-career, and Lucy Dalglish, who worked at the Herald for a time, got hers pretty early on in her career. The Herald won its Pulitzer Prize for public service, the big one, after the 1997 flood, the big one. So you do the math. That's 27 years. It's okay, though. I'm proud to accept it now for all of those who helped the Herald publish every single day. No issue missed, not a single one. Plus, the fact is, my degree is not in journalism. Nope. My degree is in philosophy and religious studies. Now I'm going to take a minute to tell you why you should study philosophy. First off, graduates of that department are among the highest paid of UND alums, as Professor Jack Weinstein delights in announcing. Of course, the fact is, that owes a lot to Phil Jackson. You've all heard of Phil Jackson, a man of principle who declined this award until the name was changed. When I met my handler, Kelly Usseldinger, I asked how long I could speak. 3 minutes, she said. I bargained for 6, since I'm speaking for 2. but I don't really need that many. I asked Google how many words the average person can get out in 6 minutes. The answer is 840, but really I need only 2. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you forever, UND.
Mike, you and Suezette are great examples of service to your alma mater and your community. You certainly have made UND proud. Our next recipient started her UND degree in 1 decade and finished it 2 decades later. In between, Cathy Rydell raised a family and became a respected North Dakota legislator.
Throughout her life, Cathy Rydell says she suffered from a bit of imposter syndrome, stepping into roles she did not feel qualified to hold. Yet her enthusiasm and dedication carried her to new heights. Cathy was a longtime state lawmaker, served on the UND Alumni Association and Foundation Board of Directors, and her career culminated in a 21-year tenure as CEO of the American Academy of Neurology.
She exemplifies the word leadership, and what I mean by that is she knows how to mentor people, she knows how to build relationships, she knows how to motivate them and bring out the best in people, and I think that's just so important for any sort of leader. And she's exemplified that not only in her time in the legislature, but in her time in the public sector, private sector, and even on the UND Alumni Board when she served there. Always bringing out the best in people, always wanting to expect the best in people as well. And she did that throughout her entire career.
One of her proudest achievements was sponsoring the North Dakota Clean Indoor Air Act, a feat of courage inspired by her mother's battle with lung cancer. Another proud moment, earning a UND degree she'd started nearly 2 decades earlier.
Knew the importance of that education, knew the importance of what it would mean to her long term, but so important to go back to UND, and that's what I love about that, and getting the degree and then also giving back to UND even when she was done. Her private sector career and her career at the American Academy of Neurology, she was always giving back to UND. It was her center, it was her home, and just like so many of us, she considers UND family. But she's not only philanthropic with her money, she's philanthropic with her time. And encouraging others to do the same thing, that's almost equally, if not more important than giving money, is giving of your time, giving of your treasure, and giving of your leadership abilities to encourage others to participate as well.
Cathy, for your commitment to improving your community and state and your tenacity in earning your UND degree, please come forward to receive your Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership.
Boy, Mike Jacobs is a very hard act to follow. And so please don't check my facts. So Deanna and Jim for the video and the foundation board, thank you so much. To say I am humbled and honored is truly an understatement. But before I say anything else, I need to make something crystal clear, because I know many of you are thinking this. No, I am not related in any way to the wonderful Rydell car dealerships. If I was, Wes would make sure I had a much better car. So my family's connection to UND goes way back. It goes back decades. My mom and dad started at the University of North Dakota in 1929. They graduated in 1933. My father served on the UND Alumni Board in the 1940s. And in the 1950s, my great aunt and uncle were one of the first donors to the UND Medical School, establishing the Ireland Cancer Research Center. We all know UND is a very special place. Some people think it's an institution. It's not. It's a family. So speaking of family, I truly want to, I'm glad the lights are on and I can't see you, because otherwise I couldn't get through this, but I really want to thank my family and my very, very dear friends who are here tonight, and especially those that are not able to be here. Each of you has played a very, very special part in my life. I treasure you, and I honor you, and I thank you for what you have brought to my life. And to Chuck, my husband, the man I fell in love with 58 years ago, that's a little frightening, who proposed to me under the eternal flame on the UND campus, which years later, when I was taking my daughters and my best friend around and explaining the eternal flame, and isn't this wonderful, we went around the corner and found out that the flame was out. True story. It was under construction, so that was not a good moment. So Chuck, thank you for always supporting me, believing in me, and loving me unconditionally. So I especially want to recognize 3 people who are no longer with us, but who had a huge influence on my life's journey. The first is Sandy Ryan, who, if you're from Grand Forks, many of you know Sandy. I considered her my second mom. So shortly before I started my journey to finish my degree that I had started 18 years before, she looked at me and she said, "Cathy, you're wasting your brain. Do something about it." That was the kickstart that I needed. The second is former UND President Tom Clifford, who in 1987, when I ran into him in the Capitol, I said, "Tom, I want to finish my degree, but I want to do it at UND." He kind of looked at me as only Tom Clifford too, and he goes, let me see what we can do. The next day I got a call from one of the deans of, I can't even remember what college it was, and he said, "Well, my, I've just looked at your transcript. You weren't a very focused student." My grades weren't that bad except for the F in French. But I had taken courses all over the map, because every course I took I liked except French. And I'd go this direction, then I'd go that direction. So I had a lot of hours, but no focus. And he said, "You're this close to this, pick one." And I picked political science. So you have to remember, when I talked to Tom, I said, "But I need to do this remotely." This was 1987. There was no internet. I know you college students can't even fathom that. There were no personal computers and no cell phones. The biggest technology of the day in 1987 was a fax machine. So the third person I want to thank is our dear, dear Lloyd Omdahl. Lloyd was lieutenant governor at the time that I went back to finish my degree, and I'd done a lot of coursework all over the place, spent one summer on campus here at UND, but I had 8 hours left, and they agreed to let me do an independent study. So I approached Lloyd, who was, as I said, lieutenant governor at the time. He had been my UND advisor 20 years before that, and I said, "Would you help me finish my last 8 hours?" And he said yes. The cost? I had to buy him breakfast at the Bismarck McDonald's every Wednesday at 7 a.m. for a semester. After that, graduation. So when we become a Sioux Award winner, we're told to put together photographs, and you've seen all the wonderful photographs from all the recipients. And when I was looking at mine, it was very strange, because I looked through, obviously, photos from my youth and all through all my career. But if you notice those photos, they were all really about my family and about my dear friends. Because if I've learned anything in this life, it is that there is nothing, absolutely nothing more important than the people you love. And secondly, what I learned, it's never too late to become what you could have been. Thank you.
Congratulations, Cathy. You are very deserving of this recognition. Our final recipient of the evening dedicated much of his professional career to the betterment of the University of North Dakota. Dave Miedema was one of the most successful fundraisers in the history of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation. Yet, he sees his legacy as helping others establish theirs.
It's been 51 years and we're best friends still.
Over those years, Pat Halligan has seen Dave Miedema's passion for UND and its students during a 30-year career with the UND Alumni Association and Foundation.
It's the UND Alumni Magazine, and the very first sentence here, it says, Dave Miedema is one of the most prolific fundraisers in the history of the University of North Dakota Foundation, and yet he sees his legacy as helping others establish theirs. I mean, that's got the word class written all over it. I mean, that's truly what he believed. He believed that he was helping other people establish their legacy, and he was just kind of the conduit to bring them together with UND.
After years of helping others make dreams come true at UND, Dave and his wife Patty recently funded a scholarship endowment in a department close to their hearts.
I think he saw that this is really cool how people give something, a big donation. Some of these people were given millions of dollars, but it didn't matter whether it was a big or a small donation. Dave treated them all the same. And now all of a sudden he turns around a few years ago, he starts talking to UND about starting an endowment, which they did in the music department. Because Dave and Patty actually met in a music class, choral class, and that's where they first got to know each other. Yeah, Dave just bleeds green. He just loves UND. He can't speak highly enough of the place. And if we're at a hockey game at the Ralph between periods, people are walking by, they're stopping, they're saying hi Dave, they're shaking his hand. Dave loves to tell me, this is so-and-so, introduce me to him, tell me what they did real quick. If we're at a alumni party out in Arizona now at Jim and Nicole Pullman's place, same thing. Dave's introducing me to all these people that he's met, in the last 30 plus years at UND, and he just gushes about UND and how well they've done and now what they're doing to make the university even better. So yeah, Dave's just, he can't talk highly enough of UND. He just loves UND. And
our teams are fighting and we will help them see it through. We've got the team, we've got the steam, so North Dakota, here's to you.
Dave, for being the consummate professional, a wonderful coworker, and an advocate for UND students. Please come forward to accept your Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership.
Wow. I wasn't expecting this as a 70th birthday present. All of you singing and being here tonight and to receive this special award. Having worked at UND as long as I did, I had the pleasure of attending many Sioux Award banquets, alumni honors banquets, and I'm well aware of the significance of the Sioux Award and what it means. And it makes this an especially humbling experience for me. To now join the list of UND Sioux Award recipients is truly an honor, and I thank you. I want to briefly, I'll emphasize the word briefly, touch on three things tonight. One is extending thanks, one is giving recognition, and last, the power of we. First of all, extending thanks. I have to extend thanks to those individuals involved in the submission and support of my nomination for this award. It's for all of us tonight who are receiving the Sioux Award, it's indeed an honor to be nominated, but to be selected is a different matter altogether. So I thank you for that, of all of those who were involved. And after receiving a phone call from Deanna and Jim Poolman several months ago that I would be receiving the Sioux Award, it just kept going through my mind with regard to the people who nominated me and supported me. What were they thinking? I don't know, but I appreciate it very much. I also want to extend thanks to Deanna and the team at the Alumni Association and Foundation, and also President Armacost. Talk about the right two people in the right positions at the right time. They've both done just a tremendous job for our university. Just a few days ago, Deanna announced, and Jim alluded to it earlier, a $100 million fiscal year for the University of North Dakota Foundation, a first ever $100 million year. And it's numbers like that, Deanna, that make me want to saddle up again. So stand by. And President Andy, thank you for your leadership and for your vision for our university. You and First Lady Cathy have done a tremendous job, as we all know, since arriving here, and we look forward to many, many more years with you at the helm. So thank you. And last, I want to extend thanks to Jim Poolman, a good friend of mine, and other members of the Alumni Association and Foundation Executive Committee and the Board of Directors. Thank you all for sharing your skills, your expertise, and your leadership for the benefit of UND. Second, I want to give recognition, first of all, recognizing the other Sioux Award recipients tonight, Mike and Suezette, Chuck, Monica, and Cathy. I'm proud to be part of our class, if you will, and I'll always treasure our new connection. Just one little sidebar about Dr. Mayer that I'm sure most all of you are not aware of, and that is, around about 1980, Monica and I worked at the same place here in Grand Forks. For me, it was a job pretty fresh out of college, out of UND. And for Monica, it was a job to save up some money so she could go to medical school, round about, as I said, 1980. And Monica, I don't know if you're aware or not. Where's Monica sitting? I don't know if you're aware or not, but our former boss, Don Fisk, is here tonight. And he has brought with him 2 checks, both adjusted for inflation, to pay us for overtime that we worked back in 1980. So I suggest And we'll meet Don afterwards and collect. But I suggest that you and I have a good party tonight. I also want to recognize our Young Alumni Achievement Award recipients. My goodness. Tiffany, Emily, and Erica, what you've already achieved in your young lives is truly amazing. And we all look forward to tracking what we know will be a very bright future for each of you. So congratulations. Last, I want to recognize family members and very special friends who are here tonight, but time doesn't allow for me to introduce each of them. But you know who you are, and most of you are sitting right out here, and what you mean to me, and I sincerely appreciate you being here. I do want to recognize my wife, Patty, who I met at UND in 1974 while we were both students and members of the University Chorus, what is now referred to as the concert choir. And I don't know if I sang my way into her heart or she sang her way into my heart, but all I know is it worked. Because next month we'll be celebrating our 47th wedding anniversary, and it all started here at UND. Last, what I'm calling the power of we, and again we heard a bit about this earlier tonight, I think from Jim, but it was almost exactly a year ago that Deanna and President Andy introduced us to the Forever UND campaign. A $500 million campaign for the benefit of the University of North Dakota. And many of you in the audience tonight have already made a commitment to that campaign, and I thank you. If you haven't yet made your gift, please meet me in the lobby after the banquet, and we'll visit. But the subtitles that Deanna relayed are We Do, We Lead, We Are Forever UND. And it's the word we that resonates with me as I think about my personal relationship with UND. And I also think about the many conversations I've had with others, especially alumni, about our University of North Dakota. Like so many of you, I often wear a UND sweatshirt or t-shirt or cap or whatever, and I find that wearing the merch, as they call it these days, especially in Arizona where we've lived for the last 8 years, frequently brings a reaction from people I meet on a sidewalk or in a store or at an event or whatever it is. And you hear things like you've heard. Did you go to UND? Are you from North Dakota? Or go Hawks? Or yes, go Sioux. And again, I know many of you have had experiences just like that. Well, my wife Patty is sometimes a part of these conversations. And not long ago, after we had concluded a conversation with some newfound UND friends, Patty said to me, Dave, you have to be careful. And I said, what do you mean careful? And she said, well, I think you're leaving the impression with folks that you still work at UND. Because you're saying things like, we have a great hockey team. We have a terrific new president. We have an incredibly successful foundation. We have a beautifully transformed campus. We have a world-renowned aerospace program. It's all we. And I don't even speak French. But now Patty and I have known each other for 50 years, and we've never had a disagreement. But in this case, I did disagree, but at least partially. Granted, I should do a better job and clarify with new acquaintances especially, that I do not work at UND. But I draw the line at replacing the word we with they. How can I brag about my university when I say they? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I know some of our alumni use the word they when talking about UND and are no doubt every bit as proud to be a part of our alumni family as I am. But personally, I would find it difficult to say things like, they have a growing enrollment, or they have built a number of beautiful new buildings, or they have over 250 organizations for students to be involved in, or they have an outstanding School of Medicine and Health Sciences. I just cannot do that. And that's when it hit me, Deanna. The Forever UND campaign that Deanna and President Armacost introduced to us. We do, we lead, We are forever UND. Obviously emphasizing we, not they. Most all of us here tonight are members of the UND alumni family, and we will even accept NDSU grads who are UND wannabes. We are proud graduates, former students, community and state leaders, business owners, special friends. Whatever your vested relationship is, be proud knowing UND is your university, your school. Demonstrate your pride. Remember, it's we and not they. We are the doers. We are the leaders. We are forever UND. Be the we. I'm Dave Miedema, and I approve this message. Happy homecoming.
What a night. Congratulations, Dave. We are honored to recognize your achievements. So Chuck, Monica, Suezette, Mike, Cathy, and Dave, tonight you have joined a select and remarkable group of UND alumni and friends who are shining examples of what a UND degree and hard work can accomplish. We are so proud to call you alumni of this great University of North Dakota. At this time, I'd like our current and our former Sioux Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership and Young Alumni Achievement Award recipients in the audience to please stand so we may recognize all of you. As we come to a close of this evening's celebration, I want to take a moment to reflect on the profound impact that each of you has had on the University of North Dakota. Tonight, we've honored individuals who have not only excelled in their own journeys, but have also contributed to something far greater, the legacy of the University of North Dakota. Like pebbles cast into a still pond, your actions have created ripples, spreading outward, touching lives and inspiring change far beyond what you might ever see. Those ripples continue to gather strength as more of you, our alumni, friends, faculty, staff, students, and corporate partners add their own pebbles to the water. Just as legendary coach Vince Lombardi said, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. We are all united in this pursuit. In the classroom and in your personal and professional lives, you have embodied that relentless chase for perfection. And the excellence you have achieved is evident in everything we have celebrated tonight. The ripples you've created continue to shape the future of this great university. Every student who walks these halls benefits from the foundation you've built. Every innovation, every breakthrough, and every success carries the mark of your influence. Together, we are building a legacy that will endure for generations to come. So as we leave here tonight, let us remember that the pursuit of perfection is not about reaching an end goal, but about the journey, the ripples we create along the way, Your commitment to excellence, like pebbles in a pond, will continue to make waves far into the future. Thank you all for another wonderful Alumni Honors Banquet. Please feel free to stay and socialize and congratulate this evening's recipients. Have a good evening.